Well, listen, earlier this week I received an email that was sent out from the Taxpayers Union and from Peter Williams, who is, I think, one of its spokespeople, to do with, well, I'll introduce that in just a second. Um, you'll remember that the Taxpayers Union made public about a year ago, I think it was, perhaps a little longer than that, the enormous amount of money, I think it was up to $4 or $5 million of taxpayer money that was meant for science, meant to be spent on science research, but in actual fact it was spent on treating kauri dieback or kauri dieback, the trees, with potions made from whale oil and by playing potentially whale music to kauri trees because they were brothers. Remember that nonsense? Yeah. Well, as a result of that, the science fund, because this wasn't science, this is superstition, was changed by the government, and there was a great outrage and outroar from those affected. But we got back to going to fund science again. But the Taxpayers Union have now discovered another similar, what they call, example of grift, waste, and taxation under the guise of tikanga Māori and local councils upholding the treaty partnership. And Tory Relf, the communications chief for the Taxpayer Union, joins us now. Tory, welcome to the show. Love to have you on.
Thank you.
Okay, go. What are we talking about here? What have you found?
So this is Christchurch City Council spending $1.36 million of ratepayers' money over the last 3 years on a Maori consultancy, um, fully owned by the local iwi of Ngai Tahu, writing the guidance on how to interact with the iwi, and then marking their own homework really on the same thing, but leaving ratepayers to pick up the bill.
Sorry, let me get this right. Over 3 years, almost $1.4 million has been paid by the Christchurch City Council to the commercial arm of Ngai Tahu in that particular area called Mahanui, um, for the point and purpose of writing papers as to how they, that's the Christchurch City Council, should consult with the various Ngai Tahu iwi groups in Christchurch. Have I got, did I hear that right?
Yeah, from what we can understand, so the exact purpose of the $1.36 million is unknown because Christchurch won't share it under the guise of commercial sensitivity. But yeah, that appears to be the sum of it.
And that's the other issue. Why you asked for the actual invoices for those payments
Yes.
from the council to Mahanui Kurataeo. So you want to know, well, what are you spending the money on? And as I understand, the mayor of Christchurch has got no problem with providing that money to you, from the information to you. But the chief executive of the Christchurch City Council said no, and you're not going to get it. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. So the mayor, full credit to him, appears to be on board saying, this is ridiculous. It should be transparent. But the CEO is saying that to protect their commercial position, they can't share it, which is interesting because there doesn't appear to have been any tendering for the position either. So what
Of
commercial
course not.
position they're protecting,
Yeah,
yeah, we're not
yeah.
sure. Yeah. So,
Listen,
but I mean,
carry on.
Dunedin City Council spent a similar amount in March this year. We broke the story. Dunedin did give us the breakdown. So why Christchurch think they can't, I don't know.
Can I also tell you, I broke a story a year ago to do with $5.3 million that the Otago Regional Council had paid to Ngai Tahu and to their commercial uh, areas that had not been declared to its elected officials and was on no particular books of that particular organisation. Now, I was able to get that information under the Official Information Act Tory as well, and I was able to get a breakdown of what those contracts were to make up the $5.3 million. So there's two precedents now where the Official Information Act has been rightly used, the information has been rightly provided. So I'm struggling to see what the argument of the Christchurch City Council is to deny it. it can't be commercially sensitive because there's no competition, is there?
There doesn't appear to be, and that's exactly what we'd be saying to the Ombudsman. You know, there is um, prior previous councils have given out this information. Why won't Christchurch?
Listen, the other thing though, and as you just say, well, where can you go when basically you get the middle finger from the Christchurch City Council Chief Executive? And you're saying, well, we're going to go off to the Ombudsman. He's pretty pathetic, isn't it? And so's the Office of the Ombudsman. And you're years potentially away from getting a deliberation from that particular quarter because, well, they're not the most effective or efficient of organisations, are they?
No, they yeah, there can be hold-ups with the Ombudsman. It's probably the polite way. But no, you know, we've got to follow the process. We've got to go to the Ombudsman, and then if we get nowhere with the Ombudsman, that's when we take alternative measures.
You've gone public now with it for a particular reason, and I assume that is to draw attention to the fact that secret payments, and that's the only way to describe it,
Yes.
from the Christchurch City Council to Ngai Tahu are currently being, or have been, and I presume are being spent. The secrecy of councils, is that something that you've struck before, Tory?
Yes, it's amazing how often we will get Information Act requests back saying that we can't give you that information. Sometimes it's justified, often it's ridiculous, and quite often the councils will contradict each other, as they have here with Christchurch and Dunedin.
Do you suspect that the Christchurch City Council is being told by Ngai Tahu that it doesn't want to release the information and therefore is falling into line with Ngai Tahu because they don't want to have their monies examined publicly?
But it could be that, or it could simply just be Christchurch City Council realised how ridiculous this amount of money, $1.36 million, on how to interact with certain people. They might just realise how ridiculous that is and don't want to give the breakdown. It could be
So,
anything.
as I understand, the information they gave to you under the Official Information Act was the quantum sum, what is it,
Yeah.
1.36 million. They gave
Yes.
you the rough estimate of what they spent that money on. So that is, we asked these people to write us reports about how to engage with them, and then we paid them $1.36 million to do so. It's just that they're not prepared to release the invoice that detail how that sum of money is made up. Have I got that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Um, you've gone to the mayor, or has there been contact with the mayor for him to make the statement that he's happy for the information to be released?
So when the story broke last week, the mayor reacted in the media, and he said that he is up for it being released, and the CEO has refused.
Who's in charge of Christchurch? The mayor or the chief executive? The elected officials or the employee of the elected officials?
It should definitely be the elected official. You know, the mayor has released the details. The CEO should be following that.
Oh, you would think so, wouldn't you? But obviously, this just goes to
Yeah.
show forget regional councils, that in a city council of this country, the staff are running the show, and the mayor, what's he doing? Hanging on for grim life. Tory, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We'll follow
Yes,
this particular issue. I'm sure you will. Have you sent your complaint off to the Ombudsman yet?
absolutely. It's in the works, and we've got multiple other Lagomas going to other councils around the country as well.
Asking the same sort of
Yeah.
question. Yeah.
Yeah, I
All
think
right.
this
Good
is
on
just the
you.
tip of the iceberg. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It will be
Thanks.
Tory. Thank you very much. That's Tory Relf, the Taxpayer Union Communications Chief, on the extraordinary story. Listen, this is exactly the same as. So what's happened is that Ngai Tahu, as you know, are the primary iwi of the South Island. They actually came down from the North Island, is the oral history, but and got kicked out of the North Island. But as it turned out fine for them because their ancestors, 300 or 400 years later, have done really well out of it. Because nobody wanted to live in the South Island, you see, because it was too cold in comparison to all the fruits and delights of the North Island. Anyhow, but the fascinating thing is that Ngai Tahu are a very, very, very shrewd, I think that's the word I'd use to describe them, and smart, entrepreneurial and enterprising iwi. So I suspect they saw the white liberals that make up the city council leaderships of their particular ilk, and yeah, they saw them coming. And listen, who can blame somebody when you part a fool from their money? Really? What do you think?